This is Learn English with Ease.
English made powerful, simple, and yours.
Before anything else, let me ask you something honestly. When you open YouTube and see another English video, do you already feel tired? Like, I know this will help, but I don't know if I can stay till the end? If that's you, don't rush away. Just stay with us for a minute.
Yeah, and if this is your first time here, welcome. I'm Emma, this is Jack, and this podcast isn't about sounding perfect in English. It's about what English feels like inside your head, especially when you're nervous, quiet, or thinking too much.
We talk slowly here. We don't rush you. And if at any moment you feel like we're saying the thoughts you never say out loud, that's usually when people decide to subscribe. Not because we asked loudly, but because they finally feel understood.
Today we're talking about 2026, but not in the way creators usually talk about it. This isn't a hype video. It's not a promise. It's a reset. Especially if you've been stuck under 1,000 subscribers or stuck in the same place with your English for years.
Let me say something that might surprise you. Most people listening right now are not far from their breakthrough. They're just walking in the wrong direction, very confidently.
And that's the most painful part. You're trying. You're uploading. You're improving your English. You're watching other channels. You're doing everything people told you to do. And still nothing moves.
I remember checking analytics late at night. Not because I expected numbers to change, but because I needed proof that my effort wasn't invisible. That maybe someone out there noticed.
That quiet disappointment is very common in ESL creators and learners. You don't complain. You don't quit. You just slowly lower your expectations.
And here's where the 2026 plan really begins. Not with strategy, but with truth. YouTube doesn't reward effort. It rewards signals.
Signals of attention, signals of emotion, signals that say, this person didn't just watch, they stayed.
And most ESL videos send very weak signals. Not because the English is bad, but because the viewer never emotionally locks in.
They understand. They nod. They feel, yes, that's useful. And then they leave.
That moment right there is deadly for growth. Because YouTube learns something about your channel, that people don't need to stay.
So the first change in our 2026 plan is uncomfortable. We stop trying to be helpful and start being specific.
Not learn English confidently, but I freeze when someone suddenly asks me a question in English.
Not improve speaking skills, but my mind goes blank even though I know the words.
When a viewer hears their exact inner sentence spoken out loud, something shifts. They don't feel like a student anymore. They feel like a human being. This is why general ESL is dying in 2026, and emotional ESL is quietly winning.
Because people are tired of fixing their English, they want to fix how English makes them feel.
That feeling, the fear, the hesitation, the silence, that's where your content must live. Not in grammar, not in tips, in moments.
Think about it. Your worst English experiences didn't happen while studying. They happened in real life. A call, a meeting, a stranger, a second where time was ticking and your brain shut down.
That's the moment people come back for. Not information, recognition.
This is also why long videos fail for so many ESL channels. Not because they're long, but because they finish too early emotionally.
The viewer feels, okay, I get it now. And their brain relaxes, and relaxed brains leave.
In 2026, long videos only work if they feel like one uninterrupted emotional conversation. No sections, no lessons, no sense of completion until the very end.
Confusion first, recognition second, relief later, confidence quietly.
Not loud confidence, not fake confidence, the calm kind, where you stop fighting yourself.
And this is where many people get scared and say, but my English isn't confident enough to do this.
That thought right there, that's not a weakness.
That's the doorway.
Because confidence isn't built by speaking more.
It's built by feeling understood first.
And if you stay with us, we're going to continue this conversation and show how this 2026 plan turns into real videos, real retention, and real growth, without forcing yourself to be louder, faster, or someone you're not.
Just stay.
If you're still here, that already tells us something about you. Most people click away the moment a video feels uncomfortable, but you stayed, which usually means you recognized yourself somewhere in what we said.
And that recognition is exactly where the second half of this conversation lives. Because now we're not talking about theory anymore. We're talking about what you actually do in 2026 if you want real growth, not fast growth, not fake growth, but growth that doesn't collapse after one good month.
Let's say this clearly. The goal is not 1,000 subscribers. The goal is becoming the kind of channel people don't forget. Because when people remember you, the numbers come later, quietly, naturally.
Here's the mistake most creators make when they think about the future. They plan content, but they don't plan connection. They think, what should I upload? Instead of, what moment is my viewer living right now?
In 2026, every strong ESL channel answers one question very well. What does my viewer feel right before they click on my video?
Are they anxious before a meeting? Are they replaying a conversation from yesterday? Are they tired of sounding confident on YouTube but quiet in real life?
When you start from that moment, your video stops being content. It becomes company.
And company is powerful. Because people don't unsubscribe from something that keeps them company during uncomfortable thoughts.
This is also where many people misunderstand long videos. They think long means more information. But long really means more emotional permission, more pauses, more silence, more room to breathe.
That's why in this podcast we don't rush to solutions. We let the feelings stay a little longer than usual. Because most ESL learners never get that space in real life.
They're always expected to respond quickly, to sound ready, to be confident. And nobody ever says it's okay to take a second.
So in 2026, your channel becomes the place that says that, without saying it directly.
Now let's talk about consistency, because this is where people quietly give up. Not suddenly, slowly.
Consistency doesn't mean uploading every day. It means staying emotionally consistent. Same tone, same honesty, same promise. You don't need to pretend here.
When viewers know how your video will make them feel, they come back. Not because they're disciplined, but because they trust the experience.
And trust is the fastest path to 1,000 subscribers. Faster than trends, faster than hacks, faster than copying big channels.
Big channels can afford to be general. Small channels must be precise.
So the 2026 plan is simple, but it requires courage. You stop hiding behind usefulness. You stop trying to impress fluent speakers. And you start speaking to the person who feels a little behind, a little quiet, a little unseen.
That person stays, that person comments, that person shares your video with someone and says, "This is how I feel."
And that's when something strange happens. You stop chasing the algorithm, and the algorithm starts testing you.
Slowly at first, then more confidently.
One video performs better, then the next one doesn't disappear, then suddenly growth doesn't feel like an accident anymore.
And the best part? You don't feel exhausted. You don't feel fake. You don't feel like you're acting confident in a language that still scares you sometimes.
You feel grounded.
That's real confidence. Not loud, not perfect, just stable.
So if you're listening right now and thinking, this finally makes sense, that's your signal. Not to rush, not to panic, just to keep going, differently. So if you're listening right now and thinking, this finally makes sense, that's your signal. Not to rush, not to panic, just to keep going, differently.
And if this conversation feels like the kind of space you've been looking for, you already know what to do. Stay with us. Subscribe if you want. Come back when English feels heavy again.
We'll be here. Same voices, same honesty.
Because learning English isn't just about sounding better.
It's about feeling okay while you're still learning.
And in 2026, that's what actually grows.
Thanks for staying with us.